Welcome to this first episode of the Fireside chat series we're going to do for the Growth Conference, which will be taking place on the 7th of June in Antwerp. So going forward, up to the 7th of June, I will be doing a ton of these with all of the speakers. So we'll have Josh Fechter, we'll have Justin Wu, we'll have our own founder of the Growth Revolution, Yannick Kayati, we'll have Sujan Patel, and all of the other Savas, Sortikis, and all of the speakers we still have to announce. My first guest is Moos, Tits. Yes, I know that's a funny name. It's also funny in Dutch.
Yeah, I didn't hear that one before, Jill.
I know Moos personally. He's actually a friend of mine. I think so.
Yes, definitely.
So why did we invite Moos today? Moos has been the marketing brain behind the launch of Go Poppy, which is what you're seeing here on my mug. So yeah, Go Poppy is a car sharing platform in the whole picture of smart mobility here in Antwerp. If you are from Belgium, Antwerp, and you've been to Antwerp, yes, I'm talking about all of the red cars. And so basically my first question to you is, for who doesn't know Poppy and just in general, what is Poppy mobility?
What is Poppy? So Poppy, for us, Poppy is the future of mobility. How do we do that? How do we build the future of mobility? It's through car sharing. It's a free float car sharing platform here in Antwerp. What does free float mean? Free float means that you can pick up a car whenever and wherever you like in the home zone of Antwerp. Antwerp is also the city where the Growth Conference will take place.
So maybe you'll be taking a Poppy from the station to the event.
Very likely. So it's a free float car sharing platform, and it's very simple. Through the mobile application of Poppy, you have access to 350 cars of Poppy. We launched the 15th of January in Antwerp with 350 cars, and 200 of them are fully electric and 150 are CNG, so compressed natural gas. So it's a green fleet. And that was for us very important from the beginning, that we could launch with a completely green fleet, because I mean that's just the future.
Yeah, and so I've known about Poppy since basically Mo started on it with his other co-founder Alexander, and from my perspective as an outsider, like there was a lot of marketing going on up to the launch, and so the launch has been was last month, January, 15th of January. We're 1 month later now. Like, to me, from my perspective, it seems like a huge success. But of course, you have perception and you have reality. So,
indeed,
is it a huge success according to company KPIs?
Yeah, I can confirm that it's a huge success. Definitely in numbers of usage. Of course, we had our targets. We had ambitious targets, but I mean, we blew them away. It was really crazy. In our first week, we had more than 3,000 users. I mean, for Antwerp in Belgium, that's a lot. And there was more than 25,000 kilometers driven with the cars, and it's growing week after week. So I mean, the launch was a great success, but of course, like you said, Gilles, it's not only the launch. I mean, the launch was hyped up. If you see the success of the launch, it's not because all the channels come together on that launch day. I mean, that's very important, but it's the 3 months before that. I mean, we really focused on building the awareness, building up the leads, building up the hype, going to the launch date on the 15th. Focus on that KLT, know, like, trust funnel, that really people already knew Poppy, liked it, and trusted it through different campaigns.
What were some like tactics you used for that, like specific ones that you thought worked really well?
I mean, very simple. It's we have 350 cars in the pre-launch phase. There were like 30 cars already available in the streets for testing purposes. And we just use those cars for making campaigns. For example, the Spot Poppy campaign, where people needed to spot a poppy and then they could win something, etc. Really using our fleet as one of the main channels.
Yeah. Well, I think from like what I personally want to say about Poppy is what I think is very cool is that you're not just marketing a product but you're really changing. Not just like usually when you market a product to someone, you're changing one person's life. But here, by getting these people into some kind of green movement, you're changing the whole face of the city, basically. There's a lot of people who I know that live in Antwerp who said to me, or already said like, I'm gonna sell my car now because I can just use a Poppy. So what Poppy is really extremely good position at a problem to solve is having a car in the city and basically never using it, only using it to drive outside of the city. So Poppy actually reduces a lot of the cars.
Definitely. I mean, our vision with Poppy is ACE. You hear that a lot in smart mobility or mobility of the future. ACE, autonomous, connected, and electric. Yeah. I mean, we're going to autonomous vehicles, definitely. Is it in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years? Who knows? But that's also our vision. And for us, car sharing, free-flow car sharing is one of the steps to that point. And talking of having no car, for example, me and my girlfriend, we live here in the city center, and we both don't have a car. We are fully engaged with Poppy, of course.
Funny story about me. This is something I'm usually embarrassed to tell people, but I'm getting more and more confident about it now because there's stuff like Poppy. I don't have a driver's license, so usually it's pretty embarrassing to say that to people.
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
But I'll tell you why. I didn't do it. I didn't go for the license when I was 18, and then I went studying in Antwerp, and I just used public transport. I never needed a car. I never needed to put up the money and go to all the trouble. Of course, sometimes it's still very bad. For example, when I drive with a friend abroad, my friend has to drive, and I'm just sitting there.
The personal development, Gilles, but no driver license.
Yeah, I know, it's a bit... It's like, usually people are like stunned when I tell them. But maybe we should go back on topic. Yeah. So it was a huge success, but I imagine that if you have like a projected KPIs, and when you then crush them, I can imagine that there's some challenges involved with growing your company, like hiring people, establishing the establishing the culture. Yeah. So how did you go about that? And
So the launch was a big success, but then of course, big success. All the channels really came together on that launch date, and I mean the usage wasn't a problem. We grow week after week, but then the problem is not really the growth and the acquisition, but it's keeping up with the growth. It's really professionalizing your company, your startup, in a very, very quick speed, very quick pace. So it's hiring indeed new people. And actually I think the main learning there is in a startup phase you already focused, always focused on the results. Yeah. But from the moment you see, okay, it works, you are acquiring customers, etc., you need to move away from results and being more process oriented. How did you acquire those customers? Through which channels, etc.? And I think that's the most important thing, that you quickly go away from results and really focus on the process. And that's also in our case. We're now active in Antwerp. Of course, we have ambitions to go to other cities, and it's to see now in Antwerp which campaign worked, which campaign didn't work, etc. And really optimizing that whole marketing acquisition flow that we can actually copy paste it to other cities. Yeah. For me, I really have the philosophy, and I think you do as well, Gilles. I don't want to do a marketing campaign that I can't measure, test, or scale.
Exactly.
And if it's a one-off campaign and it gets great results, okay, good, but I won't do it. Yeah. I really want to be able to copy-paste my campaigns, because that's the business we're in. If Antwerp works, okay, we need to make it work in Ghent again. Yeah. In other cities, Ghent, Mechelen, Brussels, etc. You need to copy-paste it.
Today about
Waregem. Waregem asked us to come there.
So Waregem has a huge mall just outside of Antwerp.
They asked. They asked that. They're open for car sharing platforms. Yeah. But actually, we already have a small zone around the shopping center in Waregem. So more or less, we're already there.
Oh yeah. So just to paint a picture, you started with how many people at Poppy?
With 2, then quickly we went to 4 people, and now we're with a lot more.
How much are you now?
Yeah, it's difficult because not everyone is on our payroll. I think on our payroll we're hiring the number 13 or 14, but in equivalent FTEs it's really tenfold. I mean, not tenfold, but it's 20, 30. I mean, we need people charging the cars in the streets, rebalancing them, putting the cars in the hot zones again. And for now, it's just doing it, but also there, it's really building up those algorithms and seeing. I mean, it's a mathematical business.
Yeah, in the end, and that's basically what growth hacking is all about. In the end, it's all numbers and hard data.
All numbers. I mean,
because the numbers are going to tell you what the world is doing.
Marketing is nothing. It's no fluffy BS. It's really mathematics. It's building a marketing machine. It's testing multiple campaigns at the same time. I mean, it's not building a love brand. Of course, that's very important for the user. But behind the scenes, it's a mathematical machine.
You know what's very funny? I was very bad at math when I was in middle school, so I focused on languages, communication. That's how I went. I studied linguistics and all the way, and I ended up in marketing. And now I'm in an age where marketing is all about numbers. But I came around.
It's about numbers and content.
Yeah. I learned to appreciate numbers because they are your grip on reality.
Definitely,
and not what is in your head. So yeah, any challenges? Like for example, what I was wondering about the users, Poppy users, is like you acquire them, and I can imagine like there was a whole big hype and it's very hot and stuff, and so people tried Poppy for the first time. But I would imagine that is a challenge to get people to keep on using them. So like not have them use it 1 or 2 times, but also literally going to the steps to make it their main means of transportation. And like some of my friends, really doing away with owning a car.
Yeah, definitely.
But so far the numbers are telling
we have a lot of repeat usage. Yeah, definitely. Because I mean, one thing is acquiring the customer. Second thing is keeping them on the platform, and that's even more important. And that was also important for me in the launch. I mean, the launch is all about acquisition. Yeah. I think the pre-launch we did a lot of awareness. People knew what Poppy was. So actually, during the launch month, 15th of January till 15th of February, we could really focus on acquiring the customers and really explaining how Poppy works, because they already knew Poppy's car sharing, but what is car sharing? How do I use it? Yeah. But at the same time, also in that launch month, we already had, I like to follow the R funnel if I plan my campaigns. We already have retention campaigns ready. We are now building on a referral campaign. So the users coming in, they're not left alone. It's not the ultimate win to get them in the platform. It's the ultimate win to really make an ambassador out of it. I mean, it's some cheesy marketing language, but that's still the case.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, so basically soon when you refer friends to Poppy, you get free kilometers, or?
Possibly, yeah.
It's on the table.
It's on the table, yeah.
So something else now. So Moos is involved in Poppy right now, but when I met him, I was working at Salesflare. It's also a Belgian startup, and we were at the KBC Tower, which is a big accelerator for startups. And Moos at the time was building Flavor, a platform for home chefs to get home-cooked meals. And before that, you were in Accenture, right? So before that, he was a consultant. So it's really like a big firm consultant turned into a serial entrepreneur. So yeah, basically what I'm gonna say here is, was this what you wanted to do when you were a child?
As a child, I always liked to invent things. I don't know if that was a sign already. But it started when I was a student. I studied I'm not going to tell the whole story because I think it doesn't fit the Fireside. But it started as a student. I tried a lot of things there, tried to start some applications. It never went to the App Store. Had a few successful small businesses. Eventually I chose to work for Accenture. Actually, we went to the same school, Antwerp Management School. We did the same course there.
Did it also change your life?
It had a big impact.
Yeah.
I mean,
so this is great marketing. Great marketing for management school, by the way.
Definitely in the soft skills. I think it's for you the same. It's opening your mind and seeing what is possible. But then after Antwerp Management School, I went for Accenture indeed. So really not working for a startup or starting something. I was management consultant for 1 year. I worked for a big pharma, so it's really then the extreme in consulting. And it was a consulting life. Traveling a lot, really spending a lot of time in Excel sheets, in PowerPoints. But that experience also made the entrepreneur I am now. It really taught me to be more structured. It taught me how to do productive meetings. It was a good period. I think it really influenced positively the entrepreneur I am now. For example, I learned how to do meeting minutes. Is the email you write after a meeting? It are small things, but it makes your...
It's a new one for me.
It makes your way of working more productive. Not everything you learn there. I quit after 1 year. After a year, I started Flavor. You know me from Flavor.
What was the spark there?
I just wanted to start something, and the spark there was Accenture, busy lifestyle, late evenings. I didn't have time to cook for myself, and I was looking for alternatives, healthy alternatives. So not always pizza, pita, or other things. And then I saw that there were a lot of chefs who like to cook, home chefs. And we thought, okay, let's bring the people who like to cook, the home chefs, together with people who like to eat.
To the busy consultants.
Yes, and that was the start of Flavor. So in a nutshell, Flavor is a peer-to-peer platform for homemade meals. People can order meals from their neighbors, and people can sell their own meals online and make money with that. And it's a commission-based model.
And so just a little background, both Flavor and Poppy, Moos is one of the co-founders, but his other co-founder is twice was the same guy, Alexander. How did you meet him? How did you meet your co-founder? Your serial co-founder, let's say.
We met actually at school when I studied economics. He was there as well, but 1 year after me. So we met again at Accenture.
Ah, cool.
And you quickly see other people not doing only the consulting stuff, but are interested in doing more, in having ideas, in wanting to start something new. And then it was quickly a fit. And when you meet the right co-founder, it's a good fit. And
the stars align.
We're very complementary. Then with Poppy, Niels joined the team as our chief operations officer, and we're very complementary, and that's very important. I think they have a lot of skills that I have. I don't have, sorry, and I hope I have skills that they don't have, and it's all about the team.
All right, talking about your yearning for healthy food, or your search for healthy food. When you follow Moos on social media, like on Instagram or something, if you watch his stories, there's basically two types of stories. Like his life is of course way more rich and complex than that, but basically the two stories are him grinding hard and late for Poppy, so him working late into the night, like 1, 2 a.m. sometimes. And the other type of stories is him running very early in the morning, like 5 or 6 a.m. That's... I think of myself as a pretty productive person who is busy all the time, who wakes up pretty early and who goes to sleep pretty late, while doing very productive things, both in work and stuff for myself. But I don't the impression I have of you. I'm not quite on your level. So basically, this is a question about how do you keep on finding the energy to train for the 10 miles here in Antwerp and launch and crush Poppy in Antwerp.
I don't know if you're not on my level, Jill, because I think you're doing amazing things as well. By the way, besides those two things, I also spend time with my girlfriend, who's also watching, I think.
I think he promised.
Yes.
You. Also very nice stories, by the way. Maybe it's inappropriate that I watch your girlfriend's stories? I don't know.
Don't think so. How do I keep up with it? You wrote a blog post once, a LinkedIn post, that it's sometimes you have the best day where everything falls together, but sometimes you just have a day there where you want to watch Netflix and do other things, and for me it's the same.
And so then you just don't post a story.
Not really, but even then I think it's just creating habits. I try to start my day very early. I always go, not always, but most of the time I go for a run in the morning. I try to arrive early in the office, and then if my morning routine works out well, I have really the best day.
Yeah.
I mean, for me that's really key. That if my morning routine falls in place, I know that it's going to be a good day and a productive day. And it's just creating habits and try to follow those habits as best as you can. Trying to eat healthy, exercise, because it's not. And during our launch phase, I mean, we went really extreme in working. It was physically we could not go any further than the hours we did. But it's also not feasible to continue like that. And then you see, okay, also taking care of your health and your body is also very important if you want to exceed and excel in business.
It's impossible if you're not healthy.
Yeah.
So what else do we have?
What else do we have? Do we have any questions from the audience?
Do we have any questions? If you have questions,
I see a lot of Poppy fans.
A lot of Poppy fans, of course. No questions from the audience so far. I think that's going to be it for us today.
I'm really looking forward to the conference. I think I will.
Why should they come see you?
Yes, I'll zoom in more on really the learnings of the lounge.
Yeah.
For me also, it was one of the first times I really invested also in offline and out-of-home campaigns, and it was really interesting to see how those offline out-of-home campaigns influenced the online digital marketing campaigns, and how they interacted and how you can actually combine those two to have a winning formula. Because a brand as Poppy was not only built online, it was also built through a lot of offline campaigns. And the hard thing there is, I like to measure everything. How do you measure offline?
Yeah, how do you measure offline?
I really, if I can't measure it, I really feel...
You feel
not
lost.
well, lost, yes. But how do you do that, and what are the tricks there? I'll try to zoom in on that, and really zoom in on how do you build a really military marketing playbook to scale a business like Poppy, an operational B2C focused business.
Yeah.
We have one.
Oh, we have one question.
Do you prefer the Audi or the Volkswagen e-Golf?
I saw the e-Golf outside. It looks very slick. It's,
I prefer the e-Golf. I mean, once you go electric, you don't go back. I mean, there is the range anxiety that you have. Our e-Golfs can drive up to 300 kilometers. Reality, it's more like 250. With the cold weather, it can be even less. But I prefer the e-Golf. For longer distances, I take the Audi. So when I, for example, go to the seaside or to the Ardennes, which I will do in 2 weeks with my girlfriend, we take the Audi.
Is there a lot of people like watching the Poppy when it's parked outside in Knokken at the seaside? What is this thing?
I didn't went to Knokken with the Poppy yet, but
it would stand out with all the Ferraris and Porsches.
Also, it's also red, probably.
Yeah. So we have another question actually. Was there ever a moment that you wanted to quit? How many times a day, Ronald?
How many? Yeah. With Poppy, I didn't have that moment yet. With Flavor, it was already a longer
Flavor was also tough, no? Like
it was tough.
To match
but
the market
Poppy
places?
is tough too, but in a different way compared to Flavor. But with Flavor, definitely there were a lot of moments that I wanted to quit. Moments when you're doing everything you can in terms of marketing operations, but you just don't see the customers taking off or the sales taking off. And on those moments, you just need to keep on going and keep on improving. And to come back maybe on the co-founder thing. On times like that's very important to have a co-founder. I don't really believe in one-man startups. And with Alexander, it's the same. When I'm maybe in a low, he's in a high, and he can pull me up, and it's the other way around. So it's very important that you can rely on your co-founder, on a strong team when times are tough.
Yeah. I still have one question. Like one of the last stories I watched from you when you were running, it had a hashtag 10 miles 1 hour. I once tried it and I failed because I broke my leg during doing it. Yes, so I was
cool.
I wanted to run the 10 miles of Antwerp
in 1 hour.
In 1 hour. This is like a euphemism. I started a little late training. I have a tendency to run to overtrain basically. And so I was running the 10 miles, and I was in the tunnel to the other side of the river, and all of a sudden I had an enormous, I was on track to getting there. I think
but it's really at the end.
I was really at the end. Like my projected time would have been 1 hour and 2 minutes or something.
Yeah.
But in the tunnel, I suddenly got struck by enormous pain in my knee, and so I got to the finish line. I think my time was eventually 1 hour and 8 or 9 minutes or something. And I went to the doctor the week after, and he said you're not gonna believe me, but your leg is broken.
Yeah.
It's like, so what happened?
The week after.
I had like a micro fracture in my calf bone. And so basically what happened was I overtrained, and also when you looked at my Fitbit data, my average heart rate throughout the 10 miles I ran was 191. So my body was not able to absorb the shocks anymore. I haven't run it last year. I want to do it this year.
You're going for 1 hour? No.
Because then I would now be starting to train again, and then I would probably go to the same thing. You have another question? Okay. What would you totally different? No, like Renaud has. I think he has like a checklist of deep questions for Facebook
to
Live.
answer that, I think we need a lot of time extra. So it's difficult to really go into depth on that question. But of course, a lot of things, and I think I already feel that flavor compared to poppy. In flavor, we learned so much what we should do, what we should not do, and we have that knowledge now in poppy, and that also gave us the possibility to go that fast that we are going now. I think one thing is more focusing on the importance of the team.
So building
flavor. Eventually, we had a kick-ass team. We had really the best team. But in the beginning, I mean, it's very hard to see what kind of profiles you are looking for. What type of person does fit your organization. So I think the focus on team is very important.
Yeah. Basically, what I like to say is, fault is past, responsibility is present. Learn from your faults in the past. I know it's cliche, but
nice.
And maybe on that bombshell, it could be time to end. I'm gonna say one more thing. So the ticket sales for the Growth Conference are going on. We're in super early bird phase right now until the 20th of March. Tickets are flying out of the door. It's not that it's almost sold out yet, that we're not there yet, but if you want, go for it. Very nice call to action. And so, within the next few weeks, we'll be doing more of these with the other speakers. I can't tell you who the next one will be yet. I do know, but we'll see.
It's the 7th of June, right?
Yeah, it's the 7th of June in Antwerp. Because we know the speakers are kick-ass, but we're going to do a whole big thing. There's going to be an opening party, there's going to be a closing party, there's going to be side events, there's going to be workshops. So you won't be bored, I promise you. It's money well spent. And on that bombshell, I'm gonna tell you very nice weekend early on, because I actually leave on my weekend tomorrow morning, taking a few days off.
Cool.
Yeah, guys, see you next time. Bye.
See you the 7th.